let's talk about your promotion plan. A circus is coming to town, and the circus promoter is marketed the town in order to be there in the first place and knows that he's going to sell enough tickets to make this work. But he realizes that if he walks an elephant through the middle of town, people notice. That's promotion. He puts a sign on the side of the elephant that says, circus coming to town. That's advertising. If the elephant walks in the mayor's flower garden and somehow you get the mayor to laugh about it, that's public relations. And when people come to the circus to buy a ticket, that's sales. So when we talk about marketing, it really involves promotion, advertising, public relations, and sales. So you probably heard the line sales and marketing. Well, that's because it includes a whole bunch of stuff in there. The way I've defined this for the purposes of this plan or this business plan is that promotion are things that are free or next to free. Walking an elephant through town could be free, except you got to feed the elephant. So it's next to free. You buy a sign to put on the side of the elephant, and you hire a graphic designer to paint the sign. Now you're getting into more money, and that's where advertising comes in. Okay, so the way that I've defined this as a promotion has to do with stuff that are free or close to free, and those that are costly or can incur a fee, I would put into your advertising plan. So for this part, we're going to talk about your promotion plan, but just be aware that there is a crossover. And when I talk about your advertising plan, you'll see this a little bit more clearly. So anyway, when we look at your promotion plan, there's a couple things to consider. We got to do the analysis of what promotion is there. What are the objectives of your promotion? What's the potential? What's the strategy to reach that potential? Are you communicating? What's the strategy for promoting through communication? Co-op or co-op promotions out real well. Radio promotion, video promotion, promotion of performances and independent promoters. We'll talk briefly about each one of these as we go through the plan. But the first thing is the analysis. So we talked about the market, and that could be a demographic market. It also could be a physical market, like a city or an area of a country. So review the market analysis, and then from there, look at the promotion opportunity. And then from that point, you can establish your communication objectives on those opportunities. Letter, you're going to give them a phone call, you're going to follow up with email, or you're going to text some of these promotion opportunities. What is it that's going to be there? And then budget for this. Texting is free, but you got to have a plan. So maybe it isn't free. And then you got to have a device to text on. So maybe it isn't free again. Once again, you get that little crossover thing. And then coming up with a strategy. Now, I remind you that these promotional strategies are not in general. They're going to be based on your projects and your product development. So when you're putting together a promotional strategy for a recording, then a promotional strategy for a gig. Similar, but different. And then I want you to match your tactics on how you're going to get these opportunities completed with those strategies. Okay, so with that, come up with objectives. And these objective is to get your customer aware. And then you're going to try and get them to engage, or you're going to try and get them to be acquired. How do you do that? Well, they heard of the band, And now they see that there's a ticket for sale at the Beachland, and now engagement. They're going to buy the ticket. So maybe your objectives should be placed along those lines. I would recommend that you set your objectives and your goals with built-in time frames and be specific. For example, the artist wants to increase their streaming by 50% by September 1st. Okay, so you gave up with a goal, you were specific, and you put a time frame in there. So now you can look at your strategy to make that happen. So these are some of them, some samples right here. Increase awareness of the artist. And by doing so, we're going to attract some new fans. Or increase music sample rate on Reverb Nation. Okay, getting a little bit more specific. Or increase awareness of the artist by attracting new talent buyers. How do you do that? Well, this is part of your strategy. Increase awareness of your merch. Well, one good free way to do that is just to announce it from stage. Hey, by the way, we have merch for sale. That's promotion. It's free. Point to it. Okay. Or maybe sample 5, increase awareness of the songwriter to a variety of music publishers. Okay, well, that's also a possibility. Potential. Okay, so when I think about promotion potential, I look at a lot of things. One of the main things I use for promotion is news releases. And then I think about news releases, I think about, okay, well, who's going to get these news releases? Newspapers? Yep. Magazines? Okay. Yep. How about radio? Sure. TV news departments? Absolutely. So then when I'm looking at my market, I can then look at let's say it's San Jose. I'm going to look at the market of San Jose. Okay, what are the newspapers in San Jose? That's potential. What are the radio stations in San Jose? Again, potential. These are potential outlets for promotion. Identify them. And you can do this per market and per project on how that's going to work. Then you're going to come up with your strategies. You've got your goals and objectives, but once again, you're going to come up with a strategy to do this. Inform, persuade, and remind. Once you've informed and persuaded, that reminder kind of works out real well. I suggest that artists send reminders to their fans. Hey, we got a gig coming up next week. Don't forget. Or a phone call. Or a text. We're playing out tomorrow. Come and join us. That's promotion on how that's going to work. So part of this persuasion and information to these fans and reminders can come out through lots of different ways. And depending on your project, depending on your product or your service, exactly what it is that you're working on, your product development, you're going to think about how you're going to be able to promote to the end user. That's the deal. And how are you going to do this? Through communication. Communication can be done, as I mentioned earlier, email, telephone calls, texting. It can be done on posts with Instagram or Facebook. It can be done with news releases. Lots of different ways that you can communicate. And the way to do this, come up with a strategy. Come up with a strategy for your promotion, and then how are you going to communicate to this? Now, you may find that you're going to repeat this with every product that you put out. That's good. Now that means you can come up with a template. I may have supplied this in one of the handouts in your promotion, which is in section 8, I believe it is, on how that's going to be put across. So think about repeating those. And if you have a current market, if you're only doing the Cleveland market, think of the Akron market. How you can expand that market out. to make it work for you. And then every time you do a promotional gig in Cleveland, you can go back to your template and find out, well, who did I send this to? Well, I sent it to the Plain Dealer. I sent it to the Beacon Journal. I sent it to the Call and Post. I sent it to the Sun newspapers. I sent it to all the college radio stations, etc. And then every time you do a project in Cleveland, it's going to be the same names, same database. So go and check that out. Co-promotion. This is when you're going to promote with someone else. And hopefully this co-promotion is going to cost you less money, even though it's not really money oriented. But think about a gig swap, for example. The artist says, hey, artist from Cincinnati, come on up to Cleveland. And in return, we want to be able to play with you in Cincinnati or perform at the same venue as you in Cincinnati. So something to consider along those lines of co-promotion and how that's gonna work. Radio promotion. Once again, how are you gonna get on the radio? One easy way: request. Send a request to the radio station. Call them on the phone. Make a request for your music. That's promotion. Radio promotion. Talk to the DJ. Get to know the DJs. Ask them out to lunch, especially college radio. We want to chart with college radio as much as possible at the beginning, and then it'll filter over into more commercial radio as you become more established. If the song kicks off big time, it's one of those songs that just can't be denied. Commercial radio is going to pick up on that pretty easily. So something to consider. And then video promotion, a little bit more difficult. It's because where are you going to put video? It's a little bit more difficult. However, think about it as not necessarily of a way to promote your videos, but using video to help you promote. What does that mean? Well, what about using a video screen on the side of a live performance listing upcoming dates? And maybe they're scrolling, and maybe you have a video with some of your fans that are being placed on it. And this is a way to attract fans because they're being shown off on your video promotion. And then, of course, putting your own videos up on YouTube or Hulu or any of the other ones that are out there and trying to get that video promotion happening. And how are you going to promote your gigs? I consider flyering advertising because it's a cost involved. But phone calls, emails, yep, texting, once again, promote your gigs to make that work for you. And then the use of independent promoters. These can be fans, they can be customers, they can be volunteers, but in reality, these people are going to be hired, and it's going to be someone to help you promote maybe to radio. And there's a lot of stories behind this, but we can get more into detail if you'd like. Pretty much this is defined in your book as well, so that should work out for you. So promotion, product, price, all these have to do with your promotion plan, and it's a lot more detailed than I can give you in 15-20 minutes. But any comments, questions on promotion?